Hi, today we'll talk about how to develop augmented and virtual reality application for dummies. People that don't know how to program, that have been intimidated thinking this is very difficult. And yes, it is quite difficult if you want to use Unity, Unreal or other game engines. But today we're going to show a very simple way. Some way that you can create application for knowledge transfer in minutes without any programming experience. And I'm going to show you how. Interesting enough also, you don't need a lot of equipment. You can do this just on your desktop. All you need is basically access to the internet and you can do it. The way you start is you go to the avrportal.com. That's Eon Reality's library in the cloud connected with the content creation tool. If you don't have a password, you can request that from us, and obviously you can go and get the trial license. You can also have both a desktop and iPad version. Okay, I have the password, so I'll get started. So there's a lot of things here, but it's pretty simple. There's an administration. This is for schools and environments. You can have information, you can have your students, you can have your people that you create content for and assign them different type of accounts and access. Then you have content. This is content that I have developed or other people have developed already. And of course you have banners and other things. But today we're going to create a new type of augmented virtual reality library. So we go to assets. In this current library there's about 813 different assets, but in reality there's many more assets. You can go up to 6,000 assets plus 650,000 additional 3D models. So you can select different topics, chemistry if that's interests you, geography, historical engineering, etc. But in interest of time today I'm going to select space exploration. I happen to be a space buff, also a former space rocket engineer, so this is something that interests me and I know a little bit about. I used to develop the Ariane 5 nozzle that you see there. But that's not what we're going to do today. Today we are selecting the International Space Station. And you can see here, you can check a little bit details on this, what it is. And we're going to create a lesson. We are launching the lesson. Okay, I had already a previous lesson here, so it's asking me to delete that. And now I'm loading the lesson from the cloud. So I happen to be right now in France, and this is loaded, I think, from the United States. And there you go. When you're on this environment, you can do a number of things. You can obviously interact with a 3D asset. You can trade the 3D assets. You can see through it. Let's put it back. You can also see the components of the station. And you can do it in various levels. You can do it on high level. You can then put annotations around it. All this comes as a default with Creator AVR. You can also pick different aspects. So if you want to show someone how to repair something, you can do it in steps or what it consists of. I'm gonna take that off, take this off, and put it together back again. Another interesting capability is that you can drill into components. So let's say if I'm interested in this is the sign module, and within that, this is the research module. So I can go on various levels. Okay, so let's go back to the top. Here's the entire station, and I'm gonna start with the intro, and I can either record an intro text or audio or attach a video. So in this case, I'll start with a text, and I'll just do this. And I have a little bit of a text that I prepared by going to Wikipedia. So I'm going to that. Now I am activated this, and I'm saying upload. I can upload from the audio or text to speech. I'm going to go for text to speech. And I'm pasting this. I'm synthesizing this, and I can then select who will talk about it. A male, a female. I have different voices. I'll go for Brian. Let's play.
The International Space Station, ISS, is a space station or a habitable artificial...
That sounds pretty good to me. I also want to attach some type of YouTube that will appear as a part of this. And why don't we go live to this space station itself? So I'll make a copy of that. I'm going to leave this cool sound while I'm going back. Okay, so let's click on the space station. Let's say we attach this video. I just simply paste it in. And you're going to see in a second how this works. So now when I experience this from the lesson, from the student perspective. Okay, so let's see. We'll do one more thing. We'll look at the science module. You can see here I can do different things. I can do a memo, I can build things, I can locate, identify and quiz. Those are different interactions that you don't have to program. But I will do a memo, and then it asks me to where to add the memo, and I'm gonna go for the science module. Okay, this is an interesting module, and within that let me just select it is a US laboratory module. I think I'm gonna go for the US laboratory module. I double click on that. Okay, so now I have that. Let's add also a video to that. First a little bit of text around it, and again I prepared some text about how you can conduct various scientific activities in this environment, which I will again text to speech and synthesize, but I use a different voice. I use Amy this time.
The ISS provides a platform to conduct scientific...
Which sounds good. And again, we want to see what's going on inside, right? So for that, we need to have a relevant video to that. I picked this one. This is Sunita Williams, that is live in the space station as we speak. So let's go back and let's attach this as a YouTube. Okay. So now I have an intro, I have an orbital facility, and then I can do a little bit further things. First of all, let's do locate. Locate where the science modules are. No, oh, that we don't know. And locate where the research module is. So that is what I want to do. So now in the quiz section, you have to learn about this and locate that. I can do further locations. We also built a little quiz, and it's asking me what this is. So it generates what is this? Science modules, etc. So I can do that, or I can myself type in, for example, how many years has the ISS station been up in the air, and it will say 20 years. In this case, so you can create those quizzes. The other capability you built is actually when you get to build the station yourself. You get components, and you have to do it in VR and AR. And identify is to identify various things. I can also do a 3D recording of all this. So that was a very quick example of how you can create an application. And in the next few seconds, I'll put this on hold, and we'll go on the other side and see how, once I save it, how I can see it from a user perspective. I will upload it, and then I'll come back and see it. Okay? Okay, so what I did is I saved that on my in the cloud, and it appears now in the iPhone app. So you can see it here that I saved it just not long ago. Here's the Create AVR environment, and I saved it under aerospace engineering, and I assigned it as a part of space exploration. And the learning objectives are to learn about human endeavors in space in the past, present and future, And here you see that 10 minutes ago, you can see that here the International Space Station was loaded. I had a cup of coffee also. Now I can launch this as a session for myself, or I can launch this as a session for many. In that case, I'm able to generate an email. You'll see how it is. So I can say, okay, let's invite someone here, and we will show more about this in the next session. Today we'll just experience this ourselves. So let's click on play. So what's happening now, it's downloading the lesson that I created from the cloud, the entire PlayStation. And here it is. Here's the PlayStation. I'm looking at it. Let's see. Let me just make it a little bit bigger. I can then have, let's see, what's the learning objective? Familiarize yourself with the International Space Station, habitable artificial satellite. Okay, let's start. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
The International Space Station, ISS, is a space or a habitable artificial orbit. Its first component launched into orbit in 1998. The last pressurized module was fitted. Is expected to operate until 2028. Development continues with components scheduled for launch in 2018 and
There is a delay. What you heard there was nothing to do with the app. It's the fact that I'm mirroring my app to the phone. Let's continue here. So, what can we do? Obviously, we can rotate this in any way we want. We can look at the X-ray version of it. We can take it apart, put it back again. We can also have something here called annotations. So now we get a lot of annotations about, and this annotation can be perceived in different levels. I can click on a part, let's say that part, or some other part, and explore things individually. I can also pick, I have a little pick button here, and this allows me to further explore. Let's say if I want to guide someone to repair this device or one module, I can just click on one and take them apart. So this is very much possible based on my exploration capabilities. I'll take this one here. Okay. And then I can also switch between different modalities. Let me just bring everything together. Okay. And let's go to VR. VR, I obviously need some type of headset, and I can look at this. You can see that with my gaze I can control different things. So I can, for example, look at the X-ray vision of this. I can take it back again. I can take things apart, annotation, and so on. I can even navigate this in different ways. But I want to jump to something even more exciting, which is AR. So now I'm in an AR environment.
The International Space Station, ISS, is a space station or a habitable artificial satellite in low Earth orbit. Its first component launched into orbit in 1998. The last pressurized module was fitted in 2011, and the station is expected to operate until 2028. Development and assembly of the station continues, with components scheduled for launch in 2018 and 2019.
Each segment. So, let's put it back together. Okay. And I can also do different things. I have here the lesson that I create in a few minutes. I can learn about the Columbus Orbital Facility. Remember, we have that. Why don't we do it? Let's see.
The ISS provides a platform to conduct scientific research. Small unmanned spacecraft can provide platforms for zero gravity and exposure to space, but space stations offer a long-term environment where studies can be
So I did that. I can also do other things, like for example locate. So now if I could go, I will be able to get a quiz to locate, see if I learned anything about the space station, different things are. So where are the science modules? I think these are the science modules. Let me just see. Wrong. I guess I didn't do my homework. Which can those be? I didn't have time because I created it, so that was not it. Could it be these ones? Let me try again on this one. See if I... No. I didn't do very well on this one, I'm sorry. Okay, let me see if I have better luck with a quiz. Okay, are we ready for the quiz? Okay. I will do my best here. So the question is, what is this? Is it the pressurized section, the US laboratory module, or the science module? I'm going to go for the science module. Okay, I got my 5 points.
The ISS provides a platform to conduct scientific...
But you can do other things. You can do many different things here. One cool feature that you can use is videos. Live to this place, or as you can see here.
I'm Sunny Williams. I'm up here on the International Space Station. So this is Node 2. This is a really cool module. Of course, most of these modules you see, they have 4 sides, and they're put together. That way we can sort of work
I
on
watched
a
this video. It's
flat
amazing.
plane,
She's doing a lot of cool
wall,
stuff.
a
But here you go.
floor,
So I'm going from
or the
VR
ceiling. But,
to
you know,
AR.
again, all you have to do
I'm
is
going X-ray,
turn yourself and your
exploring.
reference
I go through
changes.
lesson. So
The
I
reason
get
I'm bringing that up
assessed.
is because this is
a
where
simple
4 out of
assessment.
6 of us
We gather
sleep.
everything you have.
And so
There you
people
go. Everything
about
you need
sleeping
to
in space.
know
Do you
to
lie
make
down?
this
Are you in a
happen.
bed?
And with that,
Not really.
try it
because
yourself.
It doesn't matter.
You
You
can
don't
download
really
the
have the sensation
phone
of
app
lying
for
down.
free.
You just
and test,
sit in your
and
sleeping
you can also
bag.
contact us
So
if you want
here's
to learn
one
more
sleep station
about
right here.
how to
I'm going in right now.
create your
follow me
lessons.
if you want.
There's free trial license for that also. Just do that.
So I'm inside.
Thank you so much.
It's sort of like a little phone booth,
And bye for now.
but it's pretty comfy.